Good morning, yet again. My name is Frank Reynolds, and I will sometimes probably use my Buddhist name, which is Jadpa Dorje Samten, as in my capacity as the founder and sole proprietor of Opening to Utter Totality, a fast becoming a Dharma conglomerate because we we now have this YouTube channel, Opening to Utter Totality, which, as you've probably already noticed, has a few videos already posted on it. This is a new clip being made on July 4th of 2023 in the morning from White Pine Studios at our scenic hilltop location in New Hampshire's Upper Valley region. Now, inevitably, I'll have to go over some of the same ground that many of the other clips have gone over, because there's no way to know if someone's just watching this one or watching this one first, only watching this one, and so on. So the fundamentals are that opening utter totality is primarily concerned with running Zoom groups of the same name, Opening to Utter Totality. The first of these groups has not been launched yet, and we're ramping up, I suppose you might say, to a launch in the fall of 2023, or at least later in the year 2023, if the planets align and things come together by then. But around that time, the date is not critical. And so, the news will go out to people to whom is relevant as to the actual founding time, launch time. Now, so these videos clips are intended to kind of give background information to people prospectively interested in participating in the Opening to Utter Totality Zoom group. So I've gone into quite a bit of detail in other videos as to how the group will work, the Buddhist teachings that it will center on, and so forth. So I'm not going to go over that again, except to say that this group is going to feature a focus, on steeping ourselves in the dzogchen teachings of the great Tibetan Lama Longchen Rabjem, better known as Longchenpa, and in particular his precious treasury teachings, at least the first two volumes of those teachings. The first, or what's usually counted as the first, the precious treasury of the way of abiding, and the second one, the precious treasury of the basic space of phenomena. And in both cases, we'll be working exclusively from the Padma Publishing translations of these two works. So it will be critical for anyone participating in the group to have those, I'm assuming generally in hard copy. I don't even know if there's electronic editions or not, but anyway. So those are the texts and those are the teachings, and we're going to immerse ourselves in the study and practice of these teachings through this group. That's our whole reason for being. And the group, unlike many Zoom groups, which pop into existence, have a maybe one text that the group's going to focus on, and they have a series of meetings and go through this text, maybe 10 or 12 or 15 meetings, whatever, and then the group wraps up because the work is done, the text has been covered, and so on. Poof. The utter totality Zoom group, and probably groups, because I expect that these groups will be small and maybe 12 to 15 each in size to allow for intimacy and true discussion rather than quick question and answer opportunities of a teacher speaking to a stadium full of virtual participants. So this is going to be a true small, intimate, mutually supportive group with facilitators, but with no formal Buddhist lineage affiliation, no particular Buddhist teacher supervising the group, to whom the group sort of belongs, any of that. The teacher will be Longchenpa, who will come to us in the form of his written teachings and practices, and then beyond that, we're pretty much on our own. Practitioners are likely to have connections with particular Buddhist teachers individually, and that's absolutely fine. There's no prohibition against that at all for people individually. But it's just that for various reasons, the group itself is not going to be under the aegis or authority of any organized lineage or particular individual Buddhist teacher. And so this is to give people some background information to decide whether they're interested in the group and participating in the group. And then the way the group is not going to have any kind of open enrollment or opt-in for participants to just sign up as you would sign up for an online Dharma course or talk or something like that. People are going to be individually invited to the groups. Because the other thing I didn't mention is these groups are intended to be ongoing and continue on for an extended period of time, and with the potential to spawn other groups, or maybe participants may spin out and create other groups under the opening to utter totality aegis and so on. We'll start probably with one or at most two pilot groups to have a shakedown cruise. So keeping that in mind, that it's a more of a commitment than if you're going to just take a course for 2 or 3 months or whatever every week or 2 weeks. And this class is expected, we haven't scheduled it yet, but we expect to schedule it bi-weekly for 2 hours each meeting in the evening Eastern time, although we expect to have participants from different time zones. So I know that not everybody participating will be residing in Eastern time zone, but we'll do the scheduling in Eastern time. So we're organizing these groups, the opening to utter totality Zoom groups is a work in progress. And I'm certainly learning things as we go along. And as you can see, this has quite a homegrown appearance, which I'm not going to try to pave over. That's going to be just its quality. There's no budget to speak of. We're just doing this. And so the notion of doing these videos is to provide information to prospective participants that the facilitators have already identified. And that basically it saves us a lot of splaining individually to people about what the group is about. The idea is we could just say, oh, go and look at this video or look at that video, and that'll help you. And then let me know after that if you have any questions. Now, putting the videos up, we've discovered that in some cases, people, because YouTube is a public forum, people find the videos independently. And in some cases, people not known to the facilitators develop an interest in participating in the group. Originally, I had no feedback mechanism on YouTube to let these people let me or other facilitators know of their interest so that we could, when the time comes, send them an application. We haven't got to the point yet of actually inviting people to formally apply and then filling slots in the group. So it's still relatively early on organizationally in that sense. But so anyway, point being that we had no way for someone with an interest in the group that we didn't know who came in by way of seeing the videos to express interest in participating. Therefore, what I've just done, is to, on the opening to utter totality channel in YouTube, I've added an email address for you to reply to. If you're give a little bit of information on your background, express interest, and of course, give me your name and contact information. And that way we can put you on the list prospective participants to communicate with. So the way that you access this email address, which I'm not going to cite in the video, but the way you access this is so if you're watching the video on the channel, at least the way this appears on my screen, you would want to pause the current video, and then you go to the channel symbol, a big letter O for opening. And if you click on that, it will take you to the home page of the channel. And on the home page of the channel, you will see a lateral bar with, at least in my browser, you see a lateral bar of tabs. And you want to go to the furthest right-hand tab, which is the About tab. The it's omnipresent. All websites seem to have an About tab. So you go to the About tab, and when you click there, you will see in the middle of that space that you click into, it says for email for business inquiries or something to that effect. And then it gives you an option to view that email. If you click on there, it will give you the email address, and you can use that email address to contact us and express an interest, potential interest, obviously far short of commitment because you don't know the full particulars and no one's being invited yet anyway, but at least to get yourself on the list, email back with, in addition to your email contact information, your name, and then just briefly some expression of why you're interested, what your Buddhist practice and study background has been, anything else that you think might be relevant in identifying you, and then if you also want to include a phone text number along with your email, that will be fine, although we expect to almost entirely communicate via email, not be phoning people, texting people, and so on. And the last thing I want to say about that is, by the same token, please do not use this business inquiry email address for any other purpose other than to express your interest in participating in a group and passing your contact and background information along. Because if I start, I was a little wary of putting this email address up anyway. And if I start getting a lot of, if it becomes a junkyard and I just get a bunch of irrelevant communiques dumped into there, I'm going to have to eliminate it. And so I'd like to be able to keep it because I think it's going to be beneficial for some people to work from the YouTube videos and express their interest in participating in the group and to get on the list and identify themselves and so on. So that was a rather long preamble of housekeeping matters, and now I'm trying to get my head out of the administrative mode and finish this up with something a little more juicy and Dharma related rather than logistics related. So the title of this video clip, is A Sublime Waste of Time. And let me explain that. again, what I'm trying to do with these video clips is not give Dharma teachings or practices per se. The group will delve into a lot of practices, and Longchenpa gives a tremendous amount of practice guidance, as you'll see if you're not already familiar with the Precious Treasury. So we'll have that in spades through the group when the group gets going. So I'm not trying to, by any means, make this into a Dharma teaching video. This is more just to try to give some framework and flavor for the group, and so that you can see whether this interests you or makes any sense to you or whatever. So it's not by no means meant to be comprehensive. I'm just picking some topics, and I know I have no I have no long table of contents already prepared for future talks. I'm just putting them together as they occur to me in relation to what's already up on the site. And I don't expect that it will ever include any great, huge number of videos. But anyway, so again, so this is not intended to be a teaching in and of itself, but just to sort of give the flavor of the group. So, a sublime waste of time. Why did I call this talk by that title? Well, generally, I think people would say, oh yeah, I know what wasting time is, and I sometimes waste time. And so I think the general understanding of the meaning of wasting time is that you do a lot of meaningless or frivolous things or indulgent things or whatever, anything but productive things. You don't build a treehouse or put together a stunning work project or anything like that. But in the way that I'm using the term, that's not what I mean at all. That kind of occupation is not, to my mind, not wasting time, because I'm going to give a positive framework for wasting time, not a pejorative one. So it's not wasting time in the pejorative sense of the way the term is used. It's filling one's time with meaningless or pointless activity. Um, and on the other hand, wasting time in the Dharmic and particularly the dzogchen sense, and in the utter opening to utter totality sense, wasting time is doing nothing. Doing nothing whatsoever. And not just physically doing nothing, like leaving the broom in the corner and leaving the rake in your shed rather than raking the yard or sweeping the kitchen, but mentally doing nothing as well. And more importantly, it's the mind doing nothing, because through the mind doing nothing, there's an openness to awakened awareness potentially. So well, why we've spent a lifetime uh, developing our capability to do something or other, do this and do that, and be good at this and good at that, and so on. Now it's like we're going to do nothing. We're gonna use all of these capabilities to not use them, to not do anything. Well, why? Well, keep in mind that the dzogchen approach is a direct approach to immersing oneself in genuine being or awakened awareness in the present moment, our present circumstances, right here, right now, immediately. So that's possible because in the Dzogchen view, enlightenment is not some future condition that if we're fortunate and diligent, we might experience and attain. Enlightenment is the ground of everything right now. In terms of and not the ground in terms of, well, it's the garage from which the journey of the cosmos was launched long, long ago. It's right now the ground of experience, and always and ever pervasively the ground of experience. And therefore, we don't have to go somewhere else or become something better or more or wiser or whatever, more skillful. We just have to recognize that awakened awareness is our fundamental being and condition right now, and right now, and right now, and so on, and so on, and so on. So that's why there's no need to develop anything. In all of the other schools of Buddhism, with the exception of Mahamudra, so Dzogchen, Maha'ati, great perfection, utter totality, and Mahamudra, which means usually great seal or great symbol is the translation of Mahamudra. Those are the two direct approaches to just simplify things. And the other approaches, all of them, and some very worthy, of course, in Buddhism, are developmental, in that we're considering ourselves as on a path. We're starting here, we're heading there. We have potential to gain, to attain wisdom, but It's only in the embryonic or potential stages, and we have to develop that to the point of where it's actually going to manifest. So these are the developmental or conditional or provisional approaches of Buddhism. And these include very vaunted approaches such as the Bodhisattva practices of the Mahayana, where the Bodhisattva is a practitioner that's vowed to dedicate herself or himself to the benefit and enlightenment of other beings, and to put that ahead of concern for his or her own realization or enlightenment. So it's a very compassionate, selfless path with a lot of practices. But those practices, called the paramitas usually, are intended to develop, or at least to strengthen, in the bodhisattva their wisdom capabilities or enlightened capabilities. So they're developmental. Well, dzogchen, confoundedly, after you've gone through all these programs and practices and teachings and so on, says, well, enough of that, because you don't really need that now. In fact, if to take a developmental approach, if one is centering practice in the dzogchen view, to take a developmental approach actually interferes with realization, full realization. Well, whoa. And also, I think sometimes people wonder when they hear about the dzogchen approach and practices, which are in a way hard to define or put your finger on, because it's, well, how exactly do you do nothing? You see what I mean? So, but I think people wonder, well, I felt so good developing compassion and generosity and all these virtues on the Bodhisattva path, the Mahayana path. And what's the deal now that we're not, the Dzogchen doesn't value these things? We're just going to forget about all that and go on some sort of, ecstatic trip or something? What is this? Well, no, not at all, actually. But in a nutshell, and in probably a very kind of rudimentary statement of understanding of this principle, in Dzogchen, if we are able to recognize and rest in our true nature, which must happen experientially. That's the trick. It's not conceptually, because, as D.H. Lawrence said, the world can always work with new ideas. New ideas don't really challenge the world. The world has trouble with real new experiences, on the other hand. And this dzogchen is relative to conventional consciousness, is a real new experience and must be encountered that way if it's to be meaningful. As otherwise, it's simply conceptual, and one becomes a Buddhologist rather than a Buddhist, knows the words but not the meaning, likes to play with them conceptually and philosophically and so on, but there's a waste of time in the in the conventional sense of filling time with frivolous, meaningless, pointless activity. No, instead, experience. So if and when one is able to recognize and rest in one's awakened awareness, the nature of one's being, the essence of one's being, which every one of us has, just as cream always contains the essence of butter. We have it in essence, but we haven't necessarily rendered it or brought it forward the way churning cream will render it into butter, and then make, of course, obvious that it was there all along. It's not obvious in the cream stage, and we're probably most or all of us are in the cream stage. I don't know if it has started to congeal or not for most of us, but it can. That's the point, that it can. So therefore, by recognizing and resting in awakened awareness, the limitless compassion, love, joy, and equanimity that are the sort of shining lights of the Bodhisattva path or the Mahayana path, those are simply present, suffusing our environment, our sphere. And to at least to my way of thinking, that's why in dzogchen they're not developed, consciously developed, with associated practices the way they are in the paramitas of the Mahayana path. Because we don't need to develop what's already present. There's already a sun shining in the sky. There's no need to go and try to manufacture another sun and hang it up in the sky. It's just, you just need to, wait until the clouds clear, or, clear the clouds and fog or whatever actively, and then the sun is there. You don't have to put it there. You can't create it. In the same token, we can't create as an act of will or intention. We can't create awakened awareness, and really we can't create limitless love, compassion, joy, and equanimity either. But we don't have to, fortunately. So, doing nothing is a doorway to quite a lot of, you could almost say, something. But we probably shouldn't try to say what, because It isn't going to be nailed down by uh, anything, any form of expression, verbal, artistic, musical, whatever. Unfortunately, we can pay a lot of homage to it in those modes, but we can't communicate it in those modes in any kind of real and living way. So, therefore, in the opening to utter totality Zoom groups with Longchenpa's relentless insistence and guidance, we will try to learn to really waste time and do nothing and rest imperturbably. And then we could see if we experience that approach as worthwhile. Uh, yeah, I'm betting on it, and I hope that you will too. So, as I said at the beginning, if you're really serious about wasting time with Longchenpa and a bunch of other Dharma beggars and bums, then go into the home page of the Opening to Utter Totality YouTube channel, click the About tab, and then within there, click the View Email tab, which will give you the email address to respond to. And just send me your contact information. Of course, it's going to give your email address because you're going to use email to send this. So use your preferred email address, give your name, and a little bit about your background and what your interest is in participating in the group, being considered for invitation to the pilot group. And if you want, it's optional, but if you want, you could also put in a phone number, cell phone number, to which we could also send texts, although I don't expect to. That'd be something maybe later on when meetings are underway, we might send text alerts, but I don't expect to use that initially. So the key thing initially is express your interest, give your email address, and that won't guarantee that we'll be able to invite you to an initial group because the cohort is so small. Hopefully capacity will expand over time, but we first of all want to keep it small and manageable for a shakedown cruise, and then go from there. So we can't promise to anyone that we'll be able to save you a seat in the pilot group, but I will definitely keep you on our list and keep you informed. And then if we don't have the opportunity to meet in the initial round of Zoom groups, I hope that in a future round we'll be able to do so, because I believe that this approach has a lot of potential and will lead to a number of groups forming over time, and a number of people benefiting by the study and practice of these marvelous teachings, both directly through being group participants, and then also through the benefit that as these teachings penetrate your experience and your being, they'll benefit others with whom you come in contact, even though they may never hear the terms Longchenpa, dzogchen, or even perish the thought utter totality. So I think with that, I will sign off yet again from White Pine Studios, scenic hilltop location in the New Hampshire Upper Valley region. Wishing you good luck and great good fortune. Goodbye.